It's time to finally break down the Celtics Today version of the NBA Finals preview between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. Of course, we are still 2 days away from Game 1 starting of this series in TD Garden, but I want to break down 5 keys to victory to help the Boston Celtics reach Banner 18. First things first, we did just give a recent update earlier this morning on Kristaps Porzingis injury update. The latest report coming from The Athletic's Shams Charania. If you guys want to check that out, go on ahead, check out our page on KP. You'll find this thumbnail, click on that video, and enjoy. And with that being said, we've got everything right here for you guys. NBA Finals, the draft, Celtics offseason, preseason, regular season, postseason, and everything in between. Go on ahead, hit that sub button for me. Join 31,000 loyal subscribers here on Celtics Today. Let's get into the schedule, shall we? All right, here is what the breakdown of the NBA Finals will look like. Game 1 on Thursday in Boston, and they're going to have a nice 3 days off. By Sunday is when they'll play Game 2. You'll see there is a little bit of mix between 2 days off and 3 days off, which is great for the Boston Celtics' sake because we know they always play better and they've got at least 2 days of rest in between. But, of course, on the right side of your screen is where you're going to see the if necessary games 5, 6, and 7. And with the NBA Finals, go ahead and update you guys on what Celtics Today will be doing. Not only will we be going live for every single Boston Celtics Finals game, like you guys just saw, game 1 through 7 if necessary, here is our schedule. We will be having a live show in between game 1 and game 2 on Friday, this Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Next Thursday, we'll be going live as well, as you guys can see on the Tuesday after that, 6/18. And I put a little asterisk there at the bottom. Tuesday, 6/21, will only go live if there is a Game 7, which that, of course, will be the Tuesday in between Game 6 and Game 7. So go on ahead and join us on our live shows for that. All right, let's talk about the key players here for the Dallas Mavericks. Of course, they have a stacked roster, just like the Boston Celtics do. Kristaps Porzingis said earlier in his media availability, let me tell you, the Mavericks did not get here by a fluke. They have absolutely earned it. You have got possibly, don't hate me for this, the best backcourt in the NBA. You got Doncic and you've got Irving. Of course, you do have Jones Jr., Gafford, and Washington, who PJ has been a sneaky threat for the Mavericks during this postseason by really dominating the three-point line. Then you've got there on that bench Derek Lively, who is in the running for Rookie of the Year. You got Kleber as well, who was fully healthy, Hardaway Jr., and then it keeps going on. So let's go on ahead and jump into our keys to victory here. Number 1, I cannot stress this enough. Smitty and I have said this from day one. The Celtics have to do better in clutch time minutes. That has been their weakness. And I'm not talking about clutch time down to the buzzer. I mean, it's ending quarters. It's tight ball games. I just want the Celtics to be able to improve in their clutch time during the NBA Finals because the Celtics are actually ranked 4th in the clutch during the regular season. Of course, they're number 1 right now overall in the postseason because they do have the most wins, but I don't think the Celtics have ever given me any confidence that they can handle this in the clutch, especially with the path that they have had in the postseason so far in the Eastern Conference. And I know, there is a negative narrative right now in the national media that the Celtics have had the easiest path to the finals. Let me tell you why that narrative was created. Is because they're not dominating any of the Eastern Conference teams, especially when they don't have their star players. Knowing the Western Conference is 10 times harder, there is now that little bit of doubt, thank you, Smitty, that the clutch is now going to come into play here going up against a Western Conference team because it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a very good basketball game between the Mavericks and the Celtics. And what could really come down to the wire is being good in the clutch, especially when you're going up against possibly the 2 best playmakers in the Western Conference right now in Luka and Kyrie. They're phenomenal closers. You guys saw Luka drain a 3 from half court with seconds left to go against the Timberwolves in Game 4. They know what to do, and they know how to handle the pressure, especially coming into an arena like TD Garden when it comes to clutch time performances. The Mavericks have also had tougher closeout games as well. They've had a much harder path to the NBA Finals being in the Western Conference. That is no secret. Going up against the Thunder, going up against now the Timberwolves. But they have shown why they have had to fight until the end to make it to the finals. So I'm going to be expecting the Celtics to really step up here, win every single quarter, and in the end, you will win the ball game. Who should take the clutch shots for the Boston Celtics. Go ahead and comment that down below. Personally, I think it should be anybody but Tatum. I have not liked Tatum in the clutch this season at all. Smitty may fight me on that. I understand. But comment who you think should be the player to have the ball in their hands when it comes to clutch time shots. All right, coming up, we got more keys to victory here. Hang on, you guys are going to want to stick around here for number 5 and number 4 of our keys to victory to help win Banner 18. But first things first, let me tell you guys about Prize Picks, the number 1 daily fantasy sports app in America. I'm playing this every single game day, and here's why you guys should too. You can now win $10. Just kidding. You can turn $10 into $1,000 right now during the NBA postseason, especially if you guys do end up taking star players. That's actually going to increase your payout by 10%. And I always have a star player in there as well. You know that this is my Prize Picks that I am rocking with heading into the NBA Finals. I love the free square they're giving me with Tatum, not to mention he is a star player. And I also noticed Kyrie Irving was another star player as well. So look for those guys hidden in the Golden Stars. But one basket and I win. Easy. I got Luka having less than 31.5 points, and I have KP making a huge comeback, making a huge splash with more than 2.5 3-pointers made. If you guys want to copy mine, feel free. Or go on ahead and make your own. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. That's how Prize Picks knows you guys are actually watching Chat Sports. And go on ahead and watch yourself win some real money in real time. Pick more, pick less. I promise it's that easy. Number 2, you're going to have to contain Luka and Kyrie. This is a no-brainer. This is the heart of their success for the Dallas Mavericks. It starts with Luka and Kyrie. JB will guard Luka, and that does give me a little bit of hope. They actually did hold Luka to 40% from the field in those 2 regular season matchups, but that's, it's saying something, but he also averaged 30 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists. So Luka, you're never going to stop Luka Doncic. You are never going to stop Kyrie Irving, but you can contain them, and you can maintain the damage in this series. I would say constantly switch. The best chance you have at throwing off Luka and Kyrie is constantly switching your all-defensive starters. Holiday, Brown, and Tatum can take Luka, and I say Holiday because he's got a little bit more strength, in my opinion, than Derek White does, but Derek White and Drew have the speed to keep up with Kyrie. I would switch Derek White and Drew on Kyrie Irving, switch Holiday, Brown, and Tatum to continuously guard Luka, which is going to be a problem in the end of a 7-game series, and I do think if you continue to switch and really keep an eye on screens as well and make sure you don't get beat on the switch, I think you can really start to contain Luka and Kyrie. But we do have to realize that there are other players on the team. It's not just Luka and Kyrie against the world. So P.J. Washington and Jones Jr. actually been corner 3 threats like none other. I actually wasn't even aware of how well they're dominating the 3. I'd seen it a few times in games, but now that they're actually leading the NBA in postseason with made corner 3s with 4.6, it's insane. If that is going to be an issue for the Celtics, at least in one game. It has to, because if they got beat on switches against the Pacers, they're going to get beat at least once, and you're going to have somebody like P.J. Washington or Derrick Jones Jr. wide open, which does make me a little bit concerned. So not only do you have to really protect around the perimeter and inside with Luka and Kyrie, you've got to watch those corners because they can be as lethal as Drew Holiday is when it comes to making it from the corner 3. Next one. The Jays need to be the better duo. We know that it's JB and JT versus Luka and Kyrie. That's the duo matchup everybody's been looking at. Or they've been looking at Drew Holiday and Derek White against Kyrie and Luka. But I want to focus on the Jays, who have been dominant so far in this postseason. And the good news is that they will have Derrick Jones Jr. and P.J. Washington guarding JB and JT, which I do think their offense overpowers this defense a ton. I think that is where you do have a leverage to really start to outscore the Mavericks, because you're going to try to contain Luka and Kyrie, but if you have JT and JB blowing by those 2 defenders, it's going to be a lot easier to keep up with them and don't lose track of pace. I think overall, the Celtics offense should be a lot more dominant than the Mavericks defense. It says it right there in the stats. They've been more dominant than the Mavericks defense all year long, but I need to see it in a 7-game series. And you also have to monitor Kristaps Porzingis. And if you guys do want to go check out our latest injury update, like I said, it's on Celtics Today by Chat Sports right now. We put it out this morning. Go on ahead and check on that. But he did, since I put out that video, talk to the media about how he's feeling. Brian Robb was at that press conference, and he tweeted out that Kristaps Porzingis was asked if he's 100%. And he said, good question. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. That's a cryptic text if I've ever seen one. But he said, we'll have a couple more days. I've done a lot of work up until this point. I've done everything needed to get back into playing shape. And coming back for game 1 is the plan. But then Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe also tweeted this picture out of Kristaps Porzingis leaving this media availability. And when he says he's done everything he can, I believe it, because you can still see the KT tape on KP's calf and that lower ankle area there, making sure that even when he's not on the court, he is protecting this muscle as much as he can. That's very important. So yes, while he did just ramp up the workouts and the scrimmages this past weekend, I'm sure they have been making sure he is in tip-top shape as much as he can be off the court. And then you also do have several other people who talked during that media availability, including one being Joe Mazzulla. But I want to talk about what Noah Dalzell actually reported here about KP, because you saw that he wasn't maybe 100%. But Kristaps Porzingis takes a 10-second pause when asked if he's running pain-free. He smiles and then says, yes. I don't know if I believe it, but we'll see what Kristaps Porzingis can do in game 1. Mazzulla said just because you've been out for a month doesn't mean you have to relearn basketball. He's not worried about KP coming back. He's not worried about him ramping up and being mentally ready. Of course, physically, you do want those minutes to really allow your body to start to adjust to that level of postseason play. But Kristaps Porzingis is a veteran. He's 28 years old. He's been playing basketball overseas, been playing basketball for national teams, and now for the NBA. He understands what's at stake. He's going to play hard if he does play an excessive amount here in the NBA Finals. Last but not least, it sounds small, but it's going to be huge. My goodness, you need bench help. You need bench help. PP, my king, you've been doing great. I've loved it. What you have done coming off the bench, you're the spark, you're the scrappiness, and I do appreciate your defense. The minute he comes off the bench, he is stay ready. But the other one, Sam Hauser, what in the hell happened to you in the postseason? I'll tell you what, this man is trying to fight for a contract extension, and I would not give it to him right now. He has made an average of 1.1 three-pointers this postseason. Sam Hauser, your only job is to catch and shoot threes. What are you doing? That needs to change. He dominated against Miami Heat, and then against the Cavs, and against the Pacers. So I'm going to need him to step up here, specifically him, when they do play the Mavericks. Go on ahead and list your keys to victory for the Boston Celtics. It can be anything that I just mentioned or anything else you guys have thought about. Also, if you guys made it to the end of the video, spam your shams. Let me know that you guys are here. As always, hit that sub button for me live on Thursday for the watch party, live on Friday for Celtics Today Q&A right here at Celtics Today by Chat Sports.